heartfelt welcome to the 104th solo episode. I'm Esther Buerki, the passionate author of Living Without Fear, a book that has touched many lives, and the co-creator of the Amazon bestseller Inspired Journeys. If you're here to explore new possibilities and find inspiration, you're absolutely in the right place. If today's episode resonates with you or someone you know, please share it. Let's spread the message of hope together. Subscribe to my newsletter, join me on YouTube, and I'm so grateful if you leave a review or sprinkle some stars. Your support means the world to me, and I'm deeply thankful for each of you. And today, I want to give you an idea how you can cope with things that trigger you in your life. Why I am talking about this topic? Because I just got triggered and I want to teach you what I learned. My trigger was my younger son, who is now 19 years old. And I'm grateful I have him because he is a great teacher to me. He has just asked me if he could use my car to drive into town to have lunch with his friends. Well, he had already told me that he wanted to have lunch with his friends, but nothing about the car. And back then, I had been disappointed for a minute because I love sharing time with him over a meal. But I wasn't unhappy because I don't like cooking big meals for lunch. And then in the morning, I could quickly get over the disappointment because I definitely loved the idea that my son wanted to use the opportunity to eat with his friends who had a day off. So I didn't mind at all because I always love when he's seeing his friends. I think this is such a beautiful thing when your kid has friends and he wants to spend time with them. And I remembered my mother was never happy with the fact I had a friend coming over to our house. She was always upset when I had a good time with others because she felt I always appreciated the company with others more than with her. So right now at lunchtime, when my son asked me if I needed my car right now and if he could use it, I felt anger coming up. Why? I always take my bike to go into town. It's faster and cheaper because of free bike parking, and it's in total a half an hour exercise with fresh air. This is my choice, and I've been practicing this for over 20 years. So I didn't like the choice my son wanted to take, which meant being not very sporty, not doing any exercise, not spending any time outside and taking fresh air in, and paying for the car parking. Plus, he wanted to use my car I'm paying insurance and taxes for. Yes, I felt anger, and at the same time, a little voice in my head started. Now you react like your parents reacted many years ago when you were a young adult. And back at that time, you, Esther, devalued and criticized and even hated your parents for not being very nice, flexible, and open for your choices. Do you have had similar experiences with your parents or even with your children? How did you react? Or do you sometimes get triggered by your loved one, your friend, or someone you rarely know. What I'm going to tell you now, you can use in every situation and with every other person. So let's have a close look at it. What is happening in this moment is a value conflict. I'm valuing financial mindfulness and health-conscious choices, but my son doesn't. I dislike his choice, and I severely judged it as a bad choice. As a mom, I would love my son to be the same as myself and practice the same values as I do. He might in the future, but at the moment, he's 19 and he has to find out his own values. What should I do? Here are the steps. First step, I can reframe my perspective. Instead of seeing his choice as wasteful, I can see it as a phase of learning. He will experience the consequences of spending money for eating out and car parking and having less money for other things, and he might adjust this in the future. Second step, I can detach myself from judgment. My son's choices are not a reflection of my values or parenting. They are just his, and he might need to go through this process to figure out what's working for him. Third step, I might set boundaries, and I might think if I want him to participate in paying insurance and taxes for the car. But I guess at the moment, with his small salary as a trainee, I won't consider this. The fourth step and last step, which is very important, I should acknowledge that my feelings, it was mainly anger, are valid. It is absolutely okay to feel triggered, but I don't have to act on that feeling. And I am so grateful I'm learning more and more not to act on my feelings, but to reflect first. Don't you think too that this is a much better way to act? I'm convinced that this helps immensely in all our relationships, not only in close relationships, but also in general. Aren't we so fast in acting out on things that trigger us? It is easier to act out instead of going inward and thinking about the trigger. And when we act out, we don't learn anything at all. Whenever I'm aware of unpleasant feelings coming up within me, I start investigating about these feelings. I always tell myself, let me be curious about them. I want to know what is going on, not only at the surface, but on a deeper level. This way, I can avoid a lot of heartache for others and also for myself. But let's also be curious about others. Instead of being upset with someone, we can ask questions like, what is going on in your day or in your life? Maybe this person had a very painful experience in their life and we didn't know it. Apart from getting triggered by my son, I started exploring where else in my life I feel this pattern, where else in life I get triggered when someone takes another path than I would take. And I realized that I often got triggered by my 90-year-old father. But in the past year, I came to accept more and more that he is who he is and won't change anymore. And the dynamic is different than with my son. He shaped me and not the other way around. The trigger with my son is very much tied to my role as a mother, and very much so to the expectations that come with this role. Expectations are so tricky. They always create so much pain. When we can let go of them, we are in such a better place and we can have such a better life. Maybe you write down where and from whom you expect a lot in life. How can you change this? And replace your expectations by appreciations. If you need help with these topics, with triggers, pain, or expectations, let me know. I'm here for you, and I will guide you. Also, if this episode touched you, I'd love to hear from you. You can share your thoughts on Instagram, YouTube, or per email. Thank you, dear listener, for spending your precious time with me. You're amazing, and you're a gift to everyone who crosses your path. If no one has told you this today, let me say it again. You're worthy, you are loved, and you matter. Have an amazing day, and I'll talk to you next week.